What is going on, Jet Nation? What is going on, my Jet family? I was going to introduce myself, but you know what? I'm too hyped. You guys know where you are. You guys know where you're at. Guys, we signed Morgan Moses. It happened. We got him. I am so freaking stoked. We got Morgan Moses, the guy we wanted. A legit major upgrade. You guys know all the stats about him. I've been showing it out. Everyone's been showing it out since he came in the building, since he was an option. Everyone was excited, and rightfully so. Washington was crazy to cut him. This guy, for 7 years of his career, was one of the best right tackles in the entire NFL. This guy has been legit. In fact, he had his best season just last season, which, quick, I'm going to give you guys the stats. I imagine you saw it. I tweeted him out as well. But just to give you the stats, last season, out of those 7 years of being a dominant right tackle, last season was his best season. Last season, he had a 80.6 overall grade, which is sixth among all right tackles. He had an 85.9 run blocking grade. That's the thing to be excited about. The 85.9 run blocking grade. His pass blocking grade isn't bad. It's 70.8, and it's 15th among all right tackles, which isn't bad in any way, shape, or form. But basically an 86 run blocking grade is huge. What does that mean? We talked before, about with the offensive line and what that means. We have Mekhi Becton, the mountain, the man, the guy I love, Joe loves, we all love. That guy's going to be fine, and he's going to be a legit left tackle just like he was last year. And AVT, we've talked all about him. We all know who AVT is. I've shown you, everyone's shown you, AVT's the real deal. Like when the Colts took Quentin Nelson, like when Washington took Brandon Scherff. That's the level of offensive guard we're talking about here. But we were all nervous about the right side of the line. Well, guess what, guys? The right side ain't a problem anymore. When you bring in a guy like Morgan Moses, the right side instantly isn't a problem. And if you want that example, and if you want the reason he's playing right tackle, I ask you guys to check my Twitter page. I know many of you have seen it, but on the page, I showed a video of him dominating TJ Watt and either keeping him at bay and dominating him, one of the best edge rushers in the league. There's a reason you want this man at right tackle. So some have said he can play right guard, and hell, I bet he could. He's a big man. He's athletic. I bet he could play guard. But when you have a guy that can dominate edge rushers and dominate elite edge rushers at the next level, you want a guy like that at the tackle position. Because again, check it. The whole video is him just either keeping TJ Watt at bay, which is impressive on its own. I mean, it's TJ freaking Watt, which again, as you guys know, I've said Carl Lawson can be at that level. And that's what's exciting with Lawson. But he's kept him at bay. He's the kind of guy you want as a tackle, and he's an instant upgrade. In fact, he's such an upgrade, like I said, I'm going as far to say whoever plays right guard, the right side just got legit. The right side of the line just got good. So as you guys know, I mentioned that left side, we have no problems there. That means now the weakest links on this offensive line are the center, Connor McGovern, which, as everyone likes to point out, yes, he was one of the top 10 centers from week, I believe it was 11 on. But up to that point, he was one of the worst centers. And pardon me, I expect consistency from my center. As you guys know, I've talked about how important that position is. So him and the right guard are now the weakest links, which is not the worst situation. Again, the Jets feel that Connor McGovern has played better in the past, and with talent around him, could elevate his play to a higher level. Now, you had Becton and AVT on one side, just freaking dominated. And when you look at the run game, just quick to pivot to that, I believe it was Daniel Jeremiah. He made an amazing point. They asked him about the Jets run game, and he said they're going to be able to run to the right. And he explained it before we had signed Morgan Moses. He said we'd be able to run to the right, and he said it's because there's such a presence on that left side of the line. And he knows it, a great talent evaluator. I know it. Teams are going to learn it. They're going to learn it quick. With Becton and AVT next to each other, dude, that is going to be a dominant force. Like, I challenge anyone to try to come through that side. And it's going to force defenses to prioritize the left side of the field. So the way, I believe I'm getting it exact, I hope I am, I'm paraphrasing it, what Daniel Jeremiah basically said was that defenders are going to come down like an avalanche on the left side of that line, which will open up the right side. So That dominance on the left side opens up the right side on its own, like he was saying. But that right tackle position, man, Morgan Moses, again, from what I've shown, yes, he can play right guard, but he's the one you want to tackle without question. His ability, it's not all the time you have linemen that can dominate edge rushers. That's really the point. It's rare for linemen to have the athleticism and physical ability to be able to hold edge rushers at bay, which he's clearly done and I've shown. So he's that right tackle at right guard. Could it be Fant? Yes. So that's what's interesting here. We have options. And again, like every position, options are great. They're always great. So can George Fant play right guard? Well, we're going to find out. It's basically now going to be a competition between George Fant and what appears to be Greg Van Roten. I mean, there's a lot of young guys I like. I really like Cameron Clark. You guys know that. I felt that Joe didn't take an offensive lineman late in the draft, even though there were a lot I liked, because I felt he must have been high on Clark from the last year, which I liked him. I mean, he, as you guys remember, I explained him like a smaller Becton. This kid, Joe said I like him for his nasty streak, his ability to put people down and finish, like just pancake dudes. Like that's what he does. So him, and I also like Tristan Hodge for a little while. We haven't unfortunately heard anything since the beginning of OTAs, which, it is what it is. He's an undrafted guy. Maybe he makes the practice squad. So we have a lot of undrafted guys like Parker, like Hodge, like I just mentioned. I don't know, I'm blanking on some of the others. They'll come to me. Silvas, I believe, is one. But they can go onto the practice squad. But so it appears to be Greg Van Roten right now. Alex Van Lewis is supposed to be coming back, but as you guys know, I'm not a huge fan. I look at them kind of like polar opposites. I look at Greg Van Roten as a guy who's not the strongest dude in the world. He's tough, but he's not the strongest, kind of like Dan Feeney. But his form is awesome. Greg Van Roten wins by having great footwork, great technique, having his hands and feet and angles in the right position. That's what he does. When I look at it the other way, Alex Lewis, his form is garbage. He reminds me of James Carpenter is a great example for Alex Lewis. His form is terrible, but he's just a brute. He's just a big, physical, strong, dominant man that can manhandle people, which is great, but I prefer it the other way around. So it's going to be a competition now, in my opinion, between GVR, Greg Van Roten, and George Fant. Fant could win it, but even if he doesn't, let's say he's a swing right tackle. People say, oh, well, he's making too much money. Guys, our roster's set. We had our draft. We've done great. We still have money to spend. That's the point. You don't get an award for having extra money. That's a fact. No one gives you an award at the end of the year. Here's your trophy for having the most money left and pat you on the back. Like that don't happen. If we have extra money, what does it matter if Fant is being paid? That's the point. Okay, we have an $8 million swing tackle. Well, I haven't looked at, but I think we still have like $30 million left or so in cap. Who the hell cares? That's the beauty of it, man. Joe has taken us from a poverty franchise, and it's true. Look at what Maccagnan did to us. I can't even say it, I get sick. A quarter of a billion, I'm sorry, giving him too much. $250 million. But that's insane. Of 1 year in spending, Joe takes us to a rich team, financial ability. Who cares if Fant's being paid a lot of money? So that's the beauty of it. We can pay him, give him the money. So Fant is either a swing tackle, which you guys, I don't know if you remember, I had an interesting idea when they were talking about Moses. Because when we had the idea of getting Moses, I thought about Fant. I'm like, okay, what's great about guys like Tyler Kroft, Trevon Wesco? They're excellent blockers. They're good receivers, but they're excellent blockers. Now, it could be crazy, but when I think of George Fant, he's one of the most athletic offensive linemen in the NFL. I don't know if you guys know where I'm going, but I'm thinking, and I pitched this a little bit, how interesting would it be to see him as an inline blocking tight end, kind of like a swing tackle, but maybe goes out for a yard or two? I mean, he's insanely athletic. That's always been the selling point of Fant. He's actually one of the most athletic offensive linemen in the league. Let's see how his hands are. That's how I'm kind of looking at it. So that could be interesting as a, like I was like a swing tackle, but also maybe an inline tight end. Maybe a guy that goes out on passes on goal line. I mean, we've seen that in the past, some other teams. Maybe that's in George Fant's future now. Maybe George Fant's going to be lining up in that tight end swing position, going out for a pass on the goal line. I mean, it's very possible. There's options now. And again, like I've been saying before, and I don't want to stay too long because as you guys know, most of you know, I'm one of the co-hosts on Weapons Hot. shout out to my guys. I'm going to be joining them in a little bit. We're the Weapons Hot Podcast. We are 6:30 to 8 p.m. every Friday. I'm going to be hopping on there in just a couple of minutes. I'm going to be joining them. But just quick, and you guys can find them on everything. Just search Weapons Hot, you'll find us. So, but with this is exciting. Just going back to the beginning of it, we got Morgan Moses, the guy we wanted. And the last thing I'll end with is the beauty, again, kind of what Joe Douglas did. This took a while. Like, I was impatient, and I say, we kind of wished it into fruition because I did, and I know a lot of you guys did as well, tweeted, where's Morgan Moses? Like, is today the day? Like, today's a good day to sign Morgan Moses. Like, that's been going on. So we've kind of, we wished it into truth, but what it means and tells us is Joe Douglas, as I've said, is a great GM. You guys know it. I've said it for a while. Look at what he did. If they said that he was getting a long-term deal, which he clearly did not, and a lot of time passed, then that tells you and me that he wanted too much. He was asking too much money, and Joe's like, I like you, but I don't like you that much. That was basically the conversation. It's like, I like you, man. I want to bring you in, but your price is too high. So they went back and forth. They didn't get a long-term deal done, but at the end of the day, a deal still got done. Joe still brought Morgan Moses in. It's a one-year deal. This is when we need him. We need him for 2021. He's here for 2021. We can figure out 2022 at the end of 2021. So right now we got him in the building. Obviously he wanted more money than Joe was willing to give, and I don't blame him. I mean, you guys are excited we got Moses, but I doubt he wanted this much. But just imagine that you heard Morgan Moses got like $30 million. You'd be like, we signed him. Wait, how much did he get? Wait a minute. Hold on. What? Like, I'm assuming he wanted too much. So we got him in the building. He's in the door, one-year deal. And as I was pointing out, I was saying, immediate upgrade. This kid is going to be a legit right tackle. For the video I pointed on Twitter, you want him at right tackle. At right guard, again, it's going to be a competition between Fant and Greg Van Roten. Other guys could step in. That looks like the consensus right now. Or Fant swing tackle. This is going to elevate McGovern's play. That's the hope. You have now 3 studs, in my opinion. With Becton, AVT, and Moses, you have 3 studs along a 5-man offensive line. That's always a great combination. Think about when the Jets' offensive line was great. They didn't just have Ferguson and Mangold. They also had guys like Faneca in the past. They had Cologne. They had Brandon Moore. I don't know. Gee, that slipped. I can't believe he slipped my mind. He's actually an unappreciated one. Shout out to Brandon Moore. Brandon Moore was much better than he ever got credit for, honestly, because all the other guys were so great around him. But now we have 3 studs on a 5-man offensive line. So that should elevate Connor McGovern's play. So with Connor McGovern's play elevated, either Fant or Greg Van Roten at right guard, 3 studs in the guys I just mentioned, man, I legit think, we have a top line. I think right now we legit have a top 10 to 15 offensive line. That's as far as I go, but it could be better. We have a legit line right now. We really, really do, and I'm super excited. So, quick, I'm hopping on Weapons Hot. So as you guys know, you can find me there. I'm always there Friday nights. It's what we do. Quick shout out. Hayden says, Hater says she thinks Schumer's a goner. I'm with you, man. I liked when he played at right tackle in that limited time. I think it was in 2019. I believe in 2019 when he played for limited time, I liked him at right tackle, but I don't see it working out. Now because you have Fant making a lot of money, and he's the clear left to right, honestly, right now. That's the point. And that's what's beautiful with Morgan before we go. Moses last year not only had his best season, but he had to step into the left tackle position, and he played pretty well. So I've said it, and I don't want to get too into it because we're going to get going. And again, you guys join me on Weapons Hot. Becton's not going to be a problem. That kid, the weight is not an issue. The injury he has nothing to do with weight at all. And he's more athletic than linemen half his size. I pointed it out. I pointed out Weapons Hot, actually. This kind of pissed me off. I feel like the beat writers took it out of context. What Robert Saleh, just quick before I go, what Robert Saleh said actually was he actually shrugged it off and said, when our guys are athletic, we don't care about weight. Then he went into conditioning and how it's important. What did the beat writers show? They just showed conditioning and how it's important. The context is important. And the context of that is he first shrugged it off. When you have an offensive lineman like Becton that's as athletic as guys that are 300 pounds, He doesn't need to lose crap unless it's an actual issue. And let's see if the fasciitis really is a problem, and he has to lose weight. I think he probably could, but I don't think he needs to, and he's going to be really solid. So the Moses, excellent signing, guys. We got a guy. We got a great guy. We got one of the best right tackles in the NFL for the last 7 years, who had his best season just last year among COVID and among the odds. So I'm excited. That kid's going to be great. I love it. I'm hyped. So join me over at Weapons Hot, guys. I'm going there right now. I'll be tuning in, popping in there. Join me at Weapons Hot. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for tuning in. And you guys, I'll see you in a little bit.